Hello there, welcome back to another episode of Strike's Talking Points. This is going to be, unfortunately, a fairly long video, so I hope you all are kind of ready to get involved and learn a little bit about what's kind of going on. I've seen a little bit on this from a couple of my favorite YouTubers, and I kind of wanted to go over it as well. Put a little information I didn't see in their videos, so bear with me. This will be a long, however, I do believe very interesting video. This, of course, is from Vox, the people currently in charge of the Adpocalypse, by using all the tricks at their command to do this. How YouTube sent one man down a alt-right YouTube. A New York Times piece reports the story of Caleb Cain, a man who came to embrace and later reject the alt-right through YouTube. This is one man's anecdotal story about how he came to embrace and then reject alt-right via YouTube. And I'm sure they're going... Oh, there it is. Steven Crowder. This is the news story we're going with in the world today. This is also a story here that they actually debunked in their own article. Watch Laura Ingraham tell her audience to disbelieve something she just heard Trump say because he said something off the cuff, kind of funny, and they ran with it as a fact. Anyway, sorry, get back on point. YouTube has been criticized often in recent weeks for hosting content created by radical actors and some who have been censored for how it has handled this criticism, and also has been censored for how it's handled this criticism. The video sharing giant's policies on harassment and hate speech, which they don't define at any point in time, and its enforcement of these policies faced public scrutiny last week after Vox activist Carlos Maza, YouTube host Carlos Maza expressed his own frustrations with ongoing personal attacks he's faced from popular fellow YouTuber Steven Crowder. Now, if you don't know this, I don't know how. Steven Crowder has made a series of videos debunking just about everything Carlos Maza says, and he does it by listing facts, statistics, linking to news articles, showing you the information, which in Carlos Maza's strike-through videos on Vox.com or Vox Media, whatever it is, they don't do that. They just tell you a story and go from there. And of course, you have now infamous leaked tweets here. After viewing the supercut of Steven Crowder's comments, they were able to cut together a 2-minute video of Steven Crowder saying things to him. 1.25 minutes. They took that out of about 10 videos, I believe, so a little over 10 hours of material. They were able to find 1-minute supercut of stuff. And if you watch the Vox videos, you'll see the exact same words, the exact same expressions coming out of Carlos Maza's mouth, which is why Steven Crowder is using them, because he's directly debunking, going through the videos step by step, line by line, and showing information to basically counter everything you hear out of Vox. Including Vox editors-in-chief Lauren Williams and its head of video, Joe Posner. Now, questioning why YouTube allowed Crowder's videos to remain on its site. Noting the streaming services rules explicitly state that are deliberately posted in order to humiliate someone. Debunking someone's ideas is not direct humiliation, are not allowed. The platform's puny guidelines also state users cannot make hurtful and negative personal comments / videos about another person. If you watch any of Crowder's videos, which I would highly suggest you find the Crowder video, you find the Vox video, you watch the Vox video first, then you watch the rebuttal from Crowder and make your own decision. It is very simple to do that, and what Vox and most other media sources are trying to do right now, get you not to do that. Take their word for it. They're the authoritative site, as YouTube has already decided they would be because they put more money into the site. However, I do think shortly this will start to change. First off, Tuesday, the company said the series of videos in which conservative media figure Steven Crowder calls Maza homophobic slurs did not violate its policies. Then, under public pressure, YouTube said Wednesday it would temporarily demonetize Crowder's channel. That didn't resolve tension either, as Verge's Elizabeth Lapato writes, YouTube's policies have satisfied no one in this very public debacle. By Wednesday night, YouTube, the company, published a blog post explaining its reasons for keeping the videos, but promised to take a harder look at harassment policies with an aim to update them. YouTube has been attacked by Vox Media, subsidiary of NBC, Disney, and they are going after YouTube. And this is a long article. If you want to go and read it, go for it. This story here is directly linking Steven Crowder, a late night comedian basically, who does a more conservative approach to things. I believe you see a Walther Pistol, who sponsors the show, on there. And this gentleman gets his revenue by selling these mugs you see right here in the video if you're watching this. So Steven Crowder has Mug Club. That's how he supports the show. That's how they generate their revenue. They also have the ad revenue from YouTube, but I'm pretty sure that's been fully demonetized now. And it has been demonetized because it is borderline content. It does not break any rules. It does not break any YouTube's guidelines, but it almost does. And that has led to the current state. Because of the targeted attack on YouTube creators through these more legacy media organizations, you're seeing YouTube really fall apart. According to Ruse, here we go, sorry. Ruse writes that experts have spoken, he spoke with, believe YouTube's profit model and the algorithm responsible for serving Kane and others like him video after related video can inadvertently lead to radicalization. Meaning, if you let YouTube play on its own, it's going to show you stuff related to what you just watched. YouTube algorithm doesn't make judgment calls based on content. It just basically reads the headlines and the tags in the video and links them in order. Which, if you ever watch any type of music video or generic news, you're going to get bounced all over the place because it links things in chain. A lot of people who come to watch my videos are coming in from other sources. Just because I have similar tags, they pop through. Doesn't mean they want to watch me. Trust me, I got enough dislikes on limited number of views that I know this. But anyway, I'm still bored. This is just something I'm doing for fun. Critics and independent researchers say YouTube has inadvertently created a dangerous on-ramp to extremism by combining two things: a business model that rewards provocative videos, just exactly like this, evocative news stories, with exposure to advertising dollars. Look at there. There's an advertisement for Reebok on this evocative, provocative, hit piece media story. An algorithm that guides users down personalized paths that's meant to keep them glued to their screens. Facebook, Twitter, all these different sites do this, and we all know that emotion sells. However, it only sells for a certain amount of time, which is why you see a lot of this stuff falling apart now. According to Ruse, the video suggestions by the algorithm drive more than 70% of users' time on YouTube. I am on YouTube quite a bit watching different videos, and the next video is normally not what I click. I typically click back, go through my subscription feed, click on the next thing, and occasionally will pick something random off the homepage. Or a topic I search. I'll watch a video. If I don't like that video, I click on something else, go back to the search. I'm assuming these are just people letting it play while they're at home, maybe? I don't know. I've never done that, so that doesn't affect me. And is getting better at recommending the sort of videos that keeps users watching until the end. Hopefully you'll make it to the end of this video, because it will be long. YouTube reportedly updated the algorithm in 2012. I don't care about any of that. But here we go. Kane found himself drawn to one creator in particular, and then they go in breaking this down. So this is the story of one person, an anecdotal story about how YouTube did it. And I can already tell you now that the majority of the information I've found out there in the world says that typically YouTube recommends more people to the left than they do to the right. And unless you are directly controlling what YouTube does, it's always going to flip you out to something similar to what you were just watching. NPR falls right along. Is YouTube doing enough to stop harassment of LGBTQ creators, content creators? YouTube announced it will be taking steps to remove supremacist content and will re-examine its harassment policy, following days of backlash surrounding its decision not to ban right-wing YouTubers for targeting a gay journalist. Carlos Maza is an activist. He worked for Media Matters, which is specifically there to attack any type of conservative, and his entire part of being on Vox.com is he goes after Fox News without any evidence. He just tells a story over and over again, and then he gets debunked for it, and the person debunking him uses the same verbiage and words he does, and that's where it goes. I firmly believe that this was a targeted thing for the Pride Month, and Vox and NBC and the other companies are all pushing along this. Here we go. Being mean is lucrative. Queer users condemn YouTube over homophobic content. Here's a story here. I actually had to look up a few of these people. This is from The Guardian. Clearly a unbiased source. That's sarcasm. The Guardian is extremely biased, and they really do get into it. I'm going to skip through here. Demonetizing hateful content is a step in the right direction, but the company's refusal to remove Crowder's accounts suggests he is the kind of creator YouTube wants. Yes, he is a creator that they cannot monetize, someone that they cannot make money off of, someone they have to work around, and someone who gets some massive amounts of backlash because he said mean things to a person who was saying mean things to other people. He's actually gotten on to Carlos Maza for calling for direct violence, for assaults, for all kinds of different stuff. However, Crowder and most of the people on the right generally always say, do not talk to these people, do not dox these people, do not bother them, do not harass them. Well, at the same time, the flip side of that is not happening. They're being called to attack and go after people. Now, here is my belief in all of this. Very simple. I believe this is simply a money thing. Vox is having issues, and they want to strip monetization and other channels so that they will become more watched, more viewed, more influential than they already are. However, I don't really think that's going to happen, and here's kind of my reasoning. Here's the Social Blade. You guys can pull this up on your own. Social Blade for Vox. They have 1,000 uploads, 6 million subscribers, 1.4 billion views. That is a lot. It's been around since 2014. The channel is doing pretty good. Over the last 30 days, you'll see them at 38 million views. This is a billion-dollar company. Vox Media has $1 billion. They've just recently got a new $200 million investment through NBC Universal. Quite a bit of money going through them. They are a big company, $1 billion. I believe they've discussed how much money they put into their episodes, how much time it takes to film a single episode, and they are, doing very well as far as YouTube is concerned. You see them right there. They're on the top 1,000, averaging let's just round it up, 1.3 million views a day. This is a $1 billion studio, hundreds of millions of dollars invested over the last few years. 140 here, another 40 million. So let's just round it up, $400 million in investment since 2012. Ton of money in that company. 38 million views over 30 days. Here's Steven Crowder. 900, 3.9, 800 million views. So he's well behind. However, he, over the last 30 days, is at 30 million views. 38 million, 30 million. Now, Steven Crowder has a small team, and he shoots, think of Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, late night comedy shows. More akin to what Stephen Colbert used to do than what he's doing now, but, gets people on, talks to them, does comedy routines, does entertaining music videos every so often. I like Crowder all right. He's okay. I like some of his guests more than I like him, but hey, take what you can get whenever you want to see something funny. You don't want to hear people apologizing about everything they say the entire video. But you see that Steven Crowder, a guy who sells mugs, who has no major investments, is openly competing with a $400 million invested company. He is on point with them, working in a small studio with a couple of cameras. And last time I watched, they were selling some kind of wine of the month club thing. I don't know. It's interesting to see what they're doing. And this is a thing here that we're seeing more and more out of. Disney put more than $400 million into Vice Media, and now it says it's worthless. You keep hearing all these things, and keep in mind that Vox has just had a walkout of their employees, their writers, their producers. Everybody was walked out of there because they're trying to unionize, because the company is losing money, even though a small media company producing videos and articles, they are burning through cash. Still think the company's worth $1 billion, but if you go in and you see their revenue streams through clickbait, through YouTube, they're being beat out by a guy in his basement with a few friends making shows, selling mugs to support their business model. $400 million in investment. I'm assuming he sells thousands of mugs, 10,000. I don't know. And yeah, this is the man who touched it off, Carlos Maza. This is from Human Events, where they discuss his career. Carlos Maza's career as an activist is evident in his actions as a journalist who campaigns to restrict what others say in service of his political agenda. He has been getting views and videos from Crowder. People watch the Crowder videos like myself, go over, watch Maza's videos to compare what is going on. That's what's going on. A little quote here from Tim Pool, who's one of the best news sites on YouTube. If you haven't heard of him, look up Timcast. Oh my God, it's really good stuff. Carlos Maza used to work for Media Matters, which is an activist organization. Oh, let me put it right here. I can just read along. He now works at Vox, doing the same thing he did at MMFA, Media Matters. Journalism is dead, and the sociopaths killed it. Here is a quote from him. And yet, 2 years later, Maza himself called upon his left-leaning audience to commit assault and battery on far-right organizers and protesters, milkshake them all, humiliate them all, make them dread public organizing, wrote Maza in his response to Nigel Farage, who was hit by a milkshake during the campaign. He shared an article by New Republic contributor Matt Ford, wrote why milkshaking works. So here's another activist at New Republic moving the goalpost forward. And actually, if you go to Carlos Maza, he actually calls out another member of the media and calls him a white supremacist. He calls it Tucker Carlson, who is someone that actually brings people on and does, debates back and forth with people real time. Sometimes Tucker wins, sometimes Tucker loses. It's how life should be. His plan to topple Steven Crowder was deliberate. It doesn't matter who else got hurt. If one of the loudest conservative voices on the internet got taken down, Crowder wasn't banned, but he was demonetized, and other channels got caught in the crossfire. Literally hundreds of channels have been demonetized. Videos are being deleted to hear it everywhere. You can go and read about how educational channels have been hit all across the board. Even things that aren't apolitical. I know I saw where Tim Pool did an article on it, or a video on it, where he was talking about a guy who just records nature sounds. Demonetized. Kick it out. Because it is just the way of the world now. Presenting himself as a thick-skinned political wonk, Maza's campaign against Crowder only began last week. And you got to remember, this has only happened in the last few days. So this started on the eve of Pride Month, and in less than a week, he's already had tons of his people demonetized. Crowder has been demonetized, even though he hasn't broken any YouTube rules or restrictions. And that's it. That's where the world is, and this is why. I believe Social Blade gives you the answer. When you have a man running a small show with no outside investment other than support from his own subscribers, a little bit of revenue makes off YouTube, which of course now this is all gone, and Vox.com, with hundreds of millions of dollars in investment, is failing. Traditional media is failing. These places have produced so much clickbait journalism, so much activism, pretending to be journalists where they are activists. They are pushing their political message. They are trying to silence anyone that disagrees with them, and I think that is where you're getting this new rush from. This attack on YouTube, and until the channel, the company Google decides to stand up for itself, and get back to actually promoting its own creators, its own people, you're going to continue to watch this go down. Excuse me. But that's my thoughts. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, dislike the video, whatever you want to do. It's all right. I just want to continue some sort of discussion here, because this, to me, could be the touch off to the end of YouTube. Because if these people, conservatives, if actual journalists, if these mood sound people, if people making actual content for YouTube are overran by Vox.com, by traditional media outlets such as CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, if those are the people that you're going to see as the direct leads on everything YouTube, and the existing creators are already out. I know PewDiePie's already switched over some of the stuff to DLive. If that is what's going to happen, I believe you'll see YouTube and Google crumble. I've already did a video where I discussed the fact that if they demonetize, 60-70% of their creators, that percent of creators will go to Minds. They'll go to BitChute. They'll go anywhere. Create the content that has been fueling YouTube, and YouTube will lose its ability to actually exist as a platform, and will then become strictly a subsidiary of the mainstream news channels, who are already starting to fail. The viewership is dropping across the board of all traditional media, and billions of views are coming into YouTube. Billions of advertiser dollars should be spent in YouTube and not on these other sites, because that's where people are going. Why are we going there? Because this is what we want to see. We want the more interesting stuff. We want to see what's going on. We want to relate to the people we talk to. Oh, side note, I saw this earlier. New York Times has blocked me from their site because of I'm not a subscriber, so I have to flip through. But their graphic showing Philip DeFranco, the PDS. My first ever YouTube subscription was actually to the Philip DeFranco show, and they used him as a reference for the brainwashing of people. And if you've ever watched Philip DeFranco show, in this article there, New York Times actually has the last graphic. I've seen it where it's just him. He's the last person there. I'm sorry, I flipped through the article before coming on, and then I couldn't use it, so I had to take it out because that's the subscribe now thing. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. Like I said, again, like, share, comment, dislike, whatever you want to do. It's fine with me. Have a great day. But, man, this is the most interesting thing going on right now.